And I am wearing, again, my sweatshirt. It's my new Christmas sweatshirt. We got 4 new ones at the HowieCarrShow.com store. All I want for Christmas is a big, tall wall. And we spoke to Ann Coulter last week. She said, I'd love one of those sweatshirts, and we sent one of them to one of her addresses. I don't think you're at your address, though, right now to pick it up. According to the U.S. Postal Service, it's been delivered, Ann.
Excellent. I'm so excited. And after hearing me on your show, a few of my friends said, you've got to get me one. So I'm getting more than one, Howie.
All right. And by the way, in honor of our gift to Ann Coulter, Merry Christmas, and also the terror bombing today, we need a big, tall wall more than ever. That's our special of the day at the HowieCarrShow.com. You get $5 off the All I Want for Christmas is a Big Tall Wall sweatshirt. And the coupon code is Coulter, Coulter, Coulter. Punch in Coulter at checkout, and you get $5 off the sweatshirt today. And
ooh, that's a good coupon.
That's a nice coupon, yes. And by the way, I assume you've already gotten this from the White House yourself. U.S. permanently has resettled 142,000 Bangladeshi nationals on basis of familial ties, also known as chain migration. This is since 2005, man. 142,000 just from this one country alone in South Asia.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, we know that the Democrats wanted to wreck America, but this is how Donald Trump won. He was the first candidate of either political party who was finally going to put an end to this reckless immigration, which is why some of us have been a little testy with him for basically pursuing the same old suicidal Republican agenda of what does Wall Street want? What does Chamber of Commerce want? What does Israel want? Could we please get back to what he campaigned on as these attacks go forward and shootings like of K.D. Steinle? There are other not terrorist attacks, but murders and rapes, and they're continuing to happen. At some point, we're going to stop blaming Obama and start blaming Trump. This is exactly what he ran on, and he's really got to get pedal to the metal on this.
Well, this guy apparently, according to Fox, was just about to turn 21, and then he wouldn't have been eligible to be involved in this particular chain migration. You know, you and I don't know the ins and outs of all these laws, although all the beneficiaries do. So they snuck him into the country right before he turned 21, and he's had 7 years of a nice free ride in America, being a cab driver in New York, and God only knows what welfare benefits he was availing himself of. And then he decides to finally turn pro, you know,
right.
and become an ISIS bomber.
Right.
Yeah.
I tweeted out back from the Obama era what America's, our brilliant FBI and CIA's, what their strategy for fighting terrorism is not to have any changes in our immigration policy. We're going to keep moving in third worlders who, as you say, even when they're not committing terrorism, are an enormous drain on the American people, and we'll just hope their bombs fizzle. That was the reaction to the Times Square bomber. Remember that guy? He wasn't stopped by the FBI, the CIA, wasn't stopped by Homeland Security or INS. He was stopped by an alert T-shirt vendor.
Right.
And he was on a plane.
And then the guy in Times Square, Bloomberg, said it was probably a Tea Party member who was angry about the tax deadline on April 15th. Remember that? He's the mayor.
It was the health care bill. Upset about health care. Yes, I remember distinctly how he got. No, we go through this with all these terrorist attacks where they're always accusing, an American white guy. They even had a picture of him. He was balding, very white, and oh, what a surprise! It's a Muslim again. He was on a plane, although he was on the no-fly list. He was on a plane that was about to take off before the feds caught him. This was the New York Times bomber. But no, please stop bringing them in. This is why Donald Trump was elected. I mean, I like him going after the media. Everything the media hates about Donald Trump are all the things I love, but that's still not the reason. You had millions of people voting who had not voted again, who feel like both political parties had let them down, which is why I am going to keep trolling on the Emperor God, Donald Trump.
Well, you know, another thing I remember now that you mentioned the FBI is when the Boston terror attack occurred at the marathon. Remember that? The asylees, the Muslim terrorists, the Tsarnaev brothers. And then it turned out that the Russian secret police, the FSB, I guess they call it now, had given the FBI a tip that these guys were up to no good. And the FBI's excuse basically was, hey, I guess we did get the tip, but what the hell are we supposed to do? We got so many of these bastards to investigate. And I'm thinking to myself, well, doesn't that mean that maybe we should be letting fewer of these bastards into the country and you could concentrate on the ones that are already here? You know, but nobody ever seemed to...
Right. They act as if America is required by some, universal constitution to admit more than 1 million people from the third world every year. No, actually, the American people keep saying, how about none? How about none? Then you won't have to, too much to investigate. We can't investigate them all. Then, yes, stop admitting them. That would solve a lot of things.
What about? Did you watch the hearings last week with Christopher Wray, the new director of the FBI?
No, the whole FBI so depresses me. My father got out of law school back when Russia actually was the evil empire, as opposed to just an ordinarily corrupt country that it is now. My father worked for the FBI right after law school, before taking a corporate job, and he was a red hunter. Got some really major communist spies in this country doing great damage to our nation. That was when liberals loved Russia. It just so depresses me what has happened to the FBI. This is the left's plan. And you see it with the military as well. And there was a ruling from some court today, I believe. No, the military has to keep paying for transgender operations. They're putting little girls, in possessions of power so that they can be generals. This is the left's objective, to destroy the FBI and the military, so we'll have no way to fight back when they become Ceausescu.
But I mean, Christopher Wray was just basically saying he couldn't answer any of the questions about whether the FBI was playing footsie with the Clintons last year to cripple the Donald Trump campaign, because he said the Inspector General has this investigation going on, so that takes precedence over the congressional oversight of the of a federal agency. It was just crazy nonsense.
Interesting. I do not think that is true, that an administrative investigation takes precedence over one
obviously not
government. But it does remind me that this was exactly the point of the sainted Al Franken calling for a Senate ethics investigation, which I think you hate watch MSNBC the way I do. They were so excited. No one's ever called for his own ethics investigation. What a wonderful angelic man Al Franken is. No, the whole point of calling for an ethics investigation is so that no one, not only he, but his colleagues, don't have to answer any questions. I'd love to answer, but this is being investigated. There's nothing to investigate. We know what the charges are. The girls have talked.
Right, and it's like, and the other thing, and they use the same fallback for the Russia investigation. Okay, so nothing's been turned up so far, but the investigation continues.
Right.
Donald Trump has been unable to prove that he didn't collude with the Russians.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You start with the assumption that everything is true, and if you don't start with that assumption, nothing the media is saying is making sense. Though, whenever you mention the independent counsel, I do have to throw in that the sole reason Trump got an independent counsel was because of Jared Kushner's great idea to fire Comey.
Well, don't you think they should have fired him on January 20th? That was the mistake. If he'd fired him the first day, I mean, then I don't think that any of this would have happened, would it?
Well, and also maybe if Trump hadn't gone on Lester Holt and said, "Yeah, it was my idea. I did it because of the Russia investigation," that would have been a big help.
Yeah, but I mean that kind of stuff. But the key is there any collusion? And there is no collusion. I mean, you know that. I mean, nothing.
No, everyone sane knows that.
This whole thing with CNN. Did you follow this on Friday? I mean, this craziness where CNN goes with a fake news story, and then MSNBC and CBS say they have independently confirmed the fake news story.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more corrupt could the mainstream media be? They're claiming that they have confirmed a news story that's not true. So obviously
proving
it's
collusion by changing the date on when Don Jr. knew about WikiLeaks. They kept saying November 4th, November 4th, November 4th when it came out to the world, and everyone knew it on November 13th.
September.
It turned out it was November 14th, not November 4th. That's a big, big difference. Yeah. Everybody knew about it on the 14th. No, they've done this now, and CNN alone has done this 7 times, which is why... though I do have a secret prediction and secret hope, I am now 100% for Roy Moore, despite really preferring Mo Brooks to take that Senate seat of Jeff Sessions in Alabama, just to show how much they hate the media.
Do you think this terror attack today will influence the election? A couple of texters are asking this. I've been wondering the same thing all day myself.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, we'll see what happens. The charges against Moore, I think, are manifestly untrue. There is one accuser, not multiple accusers. That's just a complete lie. You know, one of the accusations, one comes from a woman whose brother Judge Moore put in prison. There's point one. Another of the accusations, the actual gravamen of the offense is Judge Moore asked me for a date when I was 18 years old, and I said no. End of story.
I like that column you wrote last week.
That's your story?
Yeah, I liked your mention because I'd forgotten all about it. But Jerry Seinfeld, icon of Hollywood and NBC, he was asking for dates from 17-year-olds when he was in his late 30s, wasn't he?
Well, he was seriously dating a 17-year-old, that Shoshana Weinstein, when he was 39. She was 17. You know, that seemed a little weird, but people weren't acting like pedophile. No, arguing with the liberals about this stuff. It's like they are hysterical women and eunuch beta males. But they're all hysterical.
And you're gonna love your new sweatshirt, I guarantee you. And
I know, thank you, Howie Carr.
And anyone else can have their. I'm showing it off now for our Newsmax audience and the Howie Cam audience. All I want for Christmas is a big tall wall. Go to HowieCarrShow.com, click on the store, and you get $5 off this T-shirt until midnight tonight. Just use the coupon code Coulter. And say, thank you, Ann, and Merry Christmas to Ann Coulter.
Hey, I have an idea for you. I know you're coming to a hard break. I'm sorry. Hey, you people should buy them and send them to the White House.
That is a good idea. I'm glad you said that, Ann. All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ann Coulter, we'll be talking with you again next week, and she is the author of the book, In Trump We Trust. It's still plenty of time to get it for a nice Christmas stocking stuffer or a gift for a family member or friend. Thank you, Ann Coulter. I'm Howie Carr.